All right, let's talk about, since it's Friday, living for the weekend. Living for the weekend is one of the most detrimental things that you can do. It implies that the other 5 days are absolutely meaningless and that your reason for living is for the weekend. Now, a lot of people say, well, I have to work, I have to do these certain things. Absolutely not. You've set up in your life that you have to do certain things. And I'm not saying that you should become homeless or you should do whatever or even spend all your money to get out of that. So the reality is, the implication is that if I'm living for the weekend, I have no reason to live during the week. And a lot of people will tell you that, you have to go through these mundane jobs. You have to, not everyone likes the job they do. Okay, right there is an absolute fallacy. It is a lie perpetuated by society, by the masses, because it is far easier to escape on the weekends than it is to persistently think towards a directive, which is why most people aren't successful. Which could be why around 96% of all the wealth in the world is owned by less than 1% of our population. Now, that's absolutely absurd. And so it's not that these people have been granted something, because that's what society will tell you, that they've been privileged, that whatever. And certainly, there are cases out there like that. But most of the time, the majority of the time, these people were persistent in thought, and so it became their reality. And I guarantee you, not a single one of these people tries to escape their reality. They don't live for the weekend. Because if they want to do something, you go out and do it. So where do you start? How do you escape this trend, this trap of living for the weekend? You start by having a directive. And most of everything comes down to having a directive. That's the first thing you can do to become successful. Except that it's excruciatingly painful when you have to get rid of everything else in your life. Now, when I say get rid of everything else in your life, I don't mean that you have to sacrifice and it has to be this, you're just living for the sacrificial presence. No. You have to get rid of the meaningless. You have to get rid of the distractions, the mindless entertainment. Because that's what the weekend really is. When we break it down, what we're doing on the weekend is trying to find some sense of fulfillment and escape. And because of those two facets, we never find it throughout the week. So, I've even had clients that seem to be doing really well, that are just really improving, making great strides, and yet they still talk about the weekend as being excited for that weekend. And so right there, we have to break it down. We have to change their awareness. Even if they're doing well but they're still focusing on getting ready for the weekend, they're excited. It's Friday. We're going to go out and party. Wrong. Find a job, create a directive that allows you to actually live your life. Okay, so to escape that, you don't have a directive. You're not living a life worth anything. You're living a life defined by your job. That you are a slave to your job. So you want to change that? Sit down, have a directive, and do everything within your power. Start acting as if that were the reality. So because we know our thoughts become things, right? What most people do, they may have a goal, they may want this job, they may do whatever, but they don't act like they have it, and they never do. Because, that's, to live in this fantasy land, that's absurd and this and that. Okay, but if our thoughts become things, what we're trying to do is train our subconscious to think and to act and to be in a certain way. So, you want to change your life? You want to stop living for the weekend? Have a directive and start acting every day as if that were real. Watch your world change.